Hi, this is Jovan Art again, and today we will be talking about the third part of the administrative and office management, or the human resource management. In this presentation, we'll be talking about the seven sections of the human resource management. First is the recruitment, selection, and placement. Second is the performance management. The next one is the learning and development. And next is the rewards and recognition. Next is the health and wellness. The sixth one is the negotiation. And the last one is the grievance. By definition, the human resource management is the strategic approach to the effective management of people in a company or organization such that they help their business gain a competitive advantage. It is designed to maximize employee performance in service of an employer's strategic objectives. Now, let's discuss first the recruitment, selection, and placement. Let us suppose that the recruitment, selection, and appointment is in the local government. Under the Article 167, Rule 22, IRR of LGC, whenever an LCE or local chief executive decides to fill a vacant career position, notices of vacancy shall be posted in at least three conspicuous public places for a period of not less than 15 days and published once in a newspaper of general circulation in the LGU concerned. In addition, notices for vacant jobs are also published in the official website of the Department of Government that the job is in need to be filled. Now, let's talk about screening. After publishing notices of vacant jobs, it is expected that you will be flooded with applicants. So, ano ang unang dapat gawin? Yes, conduct screening. Screening is a formal procedure in the evaluation of candidates for appointment to vacancy. In screening, the HR manager of the organization need to be keen on every detail. He or she is in need more time to contemplate since he or she is the one responsible for choosing the right person to do the job. The candidates are screened for their education and experience. During the initial screening, the recruiter checks for completeness of the application along with a comparison against the job requirements. But sometimes, there are instances that there's no need to subject to screening. Ang ilang halimbawa po niyan ay ang makikita natin sa screen. First, if a candidate has to work only for a short period of time. The next one is the appointment of faculty members and academic staff of state university. The third one are those in laborer positions. There is also no need for subject to screening of the change of status from temporary to permanent. Part of the screening is the screening interview. Many organizations prefer to do a screening interview of those applicants that appear qualified based on information submitted on their resume and application. The next one is testing the candidate. Tests refer to measure knowledge, skill, and ability, as well as other characteristics such as personality traits. There are different tests that a candidate should undergo. First, meron tayong itinatawag na cognitive ability. Ano ito? It measures the learning, understanding, and ability to solve problems, or intelligence test. The next one is the personality test. Personality test, it measures the patterns of thought, emotion, and behavior of a candidate. The third stage is the final or panel interview. It is similar to a typical one-on-one interview, but there are two or more interviewers in the room. They can feel very intimidating as it can be more difficult to build up a rapport with a group of people and they can be more formal in style. The fourth stage is the character and background investigation. The screening committee shall cause an intensive investigation to be conducted on the character and background of the applicant with the view of determining his character, reputation, and possible involvement in any questionable or criminal activities. The next procedure is the PSB or the Personal Selection Board shall submit evaluation report of candidates screened, not only specify whether the candidates meet the qualification but also observations and comments on the candidates, competence and other qualification. The next one is they will notify all applicants of their individual rating on the basis of education, training, experience, eligibility, and interview as well as of the outcome of the evaluation of the Personal Selection Board. The next one is the PSB or the Personal Selection Board shall recommend to the LCE or to the local chief executive the candidates who passed the screening. Now it's time for the selection of the best candidate. The selection is the most crucial part of the entire recruitment process. Ang sabi nga nila, the best candidate may not be the right one or the right person may not always be the best person for the position. At this point, there usually is one or two candidates who clearly stand out as the most qualified for the job. The last part of the recruitment process is the onboarding and induction. The HR manager should introduce the new recruit to his or her office mates. Induction and orientation should also be done during this time. Ngayon, kumusta naman po yung mga candidate na hindi pinalad na matanggap sa trabaho na kanilang inaplayan? For those candidates who did not get the job, they deserve a sincere letter from the management that thanks them for their consideration and for interviewing for the job, clearly explaining that another candidate most closely matched the qualifications specified in the job description. And for those candidates na nakuha, they are being hired in line with the Article 168A Rule 12 of the IRR of LGC, which states, all appointments shall be made only according to the merit and fitness to be determined as far as practicable by competitive examinations. So, ibig sabihin na ang mga nakuha ng mga candidates ay mga the best candidates talaga. Salang-sala para masiguro na maitataguyod nila ng mabuti ang mga mandates o function sa position na ibinigay sa kanya o kanila. Ngayon, ano naman kaya ang dahilan, ang mga posibleng dahilan kung bakit hindi natatanggap ang isang applicant or what are the grounds for disapproval? Siyempre, of course, the first reason is when the appointee does not meet the qualification for the position. Siyempre, hindi siya matatanggap kung wala sa kanya yung hinahanap ng employer na mga katangian at mga qualification para sa position na hinahire nila. The second possible reason, of course, if the applicant is found guilty of a crime. Siyempre, katulad ng binanggit ko kanina na ang mga employer talaga ay magsasagawa ng intensive background check or background examination. So, malalaman nila kung nakagawa ka ng isang krimen at siyempre, yun ay isang mabigat na rason kung bakit hindi natatanggap ang isang applicant. Another reason for disapproval is if the candidate is a former government employee pero sa panahon ng kanyang panunungkulan ay nakagawa siya ng isang grievous act na grounds for dismissal. Kaya ang resulta na-dismiss talaga siya. Kung iyan po yung sitwasyon ay hindi na makakabalik sa panunungkulan o sa serbisyo yung taong yon sa gobyerno. Unless, katulad ng binanggit sa screen natin, unless clemency is granted. Another reason for disapproval is the candidate attempted to practice any deception or fraud in connection with this appointment. Another reason for disapproval, if the applicant's appointment is in violation of existing civil service law and rules and regulation. The recruitment, selection, and appointment in the government avoid or prohibits nepotic appointments. Under the since we are talking about local government, under Article 168J, Section 12 of the IRR-LGC, no person shall be appointed if he or she is related within the fourth civil degree or affinity to the appointing or recommending authority. But if it is a national appointment, the prohibition of nepotic appointments is up to third degree of consanguinity and affinity. The prohibition of the nepotic appointments or the nepotism rule covers all kinds of appointments, whether original, promotional, transfer, and re-employment regardless of status, including casuals and contractual, except consultants. Now, what are the different kinds of appointments in the Philippine government? The first one is the permanent appointment. Permanent appointment is issued to a person who meets all the minimum requirements, including education, experience, and training, if any, and appropriate eligibility. Only permanent appointees enjoy security of tenure. Next one is the temporary appointment. It is issued for a period of not more than 1 year to a person who meets the education, experience, and training, but not the appropriate eligibility prescribed, but only in the absence of a qualified eligible. The next one is the substitute appointment. Substitute appointment is issued when the regular incumbent of a position is temporarily unable to perform the duties of his or her position, as when he or she is on approved leave of absence, or is under suspension, or is on scholarship grant, or is on secondment. This is effective only until the return of the former incumbent. A substitute appointment is issued only if the leave of absence of the incumbent is at least 3 months. Another appointment is the coterminous appointment. Coterminous appointment is issued to a person whose entrance and continuity is in the service is first coterminous with the appointing authority or head of the organizational unit were assigned. Appointments to these positions are based on trust and confidence and must be declared as primarily confidential by the Commission. For example, the Philippine President Duterte appoint Bongo as the SAP or the Special Assistant to the President, and that position is a coterminous position. So kung mag-end na ang function ni Duterte as a president, mag-end na rin yung position ni Go. An appointee also can be coterminous with the incumbent. The third one is the appointee can be coterminous with a Philippine project. And the fourth one, an appointee can be coterminous with the lifespan of the agency. Another kind of appointment is the contractual appointment. Contractual appointment is issued to a person to undertake a specific work or job for a limited period not to exceed 1 year. The appointing authority shall indicate the inclusive period covered by the appointment for purposes of crediting services. Another one is the casual appointment. Casual appointment is issued to a person to do only essential and necessary services where there are not enough regular staff to meet the demands of the services. Another kind of appointment is the job order appointment. Job order appointment is issued to a person to do a piece of work or intermittent job of short duration not exceeding 6 months, paid on a daily basis for local projects authorized by the sanggunian concerned. Now, let's talk about recruitment issues in the public sector and its solutions. There are various reasons why people may or may not want to work for the government. But in this presentation, I would like to give you the three of them and its solutions. According to Lavinia and Hayes in their study in 2004, the bureaucratic process is one of the recruitment issue in the public sector. According to Lewis and Pronk in their study also in 2004, the recruitment issue in public sector is the lack of attraction. Last one, according to Farham and Stevens in their study in 2000, the major recruitment issue in public sector is the problematic recruitment and selection practices. According to Lavinia and Hayes, a slow bureaucratic recruitment process can impede on a government agency's ability to work efficiently and respond to the burdens that governments across the world face. In result, this can make them less appealing to applicants and further constrain and complicate existing issues. To fix that recruitment problem, Lavinia and Hayes gave suggestions. Solutions for alleviating the negative effects of an ineffective approach would be to eliminate arbitrary rules and regulations that restrict the choices of hiring managers and supervisors, adopt flexible and appealing hiring procedures, and screening applicants quickly. The second recruitment issue is the lack of attraction. According to Lewis and Pronk on their study in 2004, some organizations may be having a difficult time attracting the right kind of applicants. In an age where people want to be a millionaire, governments struggle to recruit and retain highly qualified employees. In particular, governments are finding issues with gaining young college graduates of diverse races with the motivation and skills that governments want. In a study by Lewis and Pronk in 2004 called Who Wants to Work for the Government, a contingency table analysis and logistics regression was conducted on the 1989 and 1998 General Social Surveys to explore how individual demographic characteristics and the importance they place on various job qualities influence their preferences for working in the public sector. In this study, researchers focus on four main priorities that may predispose Americans to public employment. They are pay, job security, attitudes towards public service, and job opportunities and demographic characteristics. Findings confirm that, indeed, government is greatly challenged with hiring the best and brightest of the younger generation. Furthermore, finding shows that job security was a selling point for public sector employment. Positive attitudes towards helping others impacted preference for government work. Those who perceived that government pays better than the private sector were more likely to prefer government employment and that better educated Americans and protected groups, for example, women, minorities, and veterans, were more likely to choose public employment. According to Lewis and Prunk, a solution to the aforementioned recruitment issues is to improve marketing of government jobs, provide an easier, friendlier, and more transparent application process. Also, researchers Catanzaro, Moore, and Timothy in 2010 suggest that organizational culture has an impact on the attraction and recruitment of job applicants. In their study, both men and women reported stronger intentions and preferences to pursuing jobs with supportive organizational cultures, even if the salary would be lower. Supportive organizations include those that value collaboration with other employees, work life balance, equity, and supportive and helpful interactions between employees. Organizations that truly practice these values can benefit from attracting top talent and increase retention of employees who need or desire to have a work life balance. The last issue is the problematic recruitment and selection practices, according to Farham and Stevens in their study in 2000. According to Farhim and Stevens, a problematic issue that governments may face is the practice of subjective and inconsistent recruitment and selection. These practices were also connected to the lack of awareness of important key procedural and equity issues. These practices include selections focused on interviews, application forms, and reference checks that are not well managed by line managers and human resource personnel. The Farhim and Stevens study on the development and implementation of competence-based recruitment and selection in a social services department of West Sussex County Council, located in the United Kingdom, found that there was a need for a competence-based approach that subsequently became a good fit for the department's overall human resource strategy and improved workplace performance and reduction of workplace conflict. Farhim and Stevens added that the study highlights two areas of focus as it pertains to competence-based recruitment, which are training and relationship building. In particular, relationship building refers to a partnership approach that provides efficiency and effectiveness in staff recruitment and selection between line managers and personal staff. By using objective measures in the recruitment and selection process, the West Sussex County Council can better assure that they are staffed with the best qualified fit people within their organization. Okay, that was the overview of the recruitment, selection, and placement in the public sector. Maraming salamat po sa panunood and see you again in our next videos. 아침을 깨우는 네 목소리 머리를 빗는 네 빗소리 밖엔 비가 오나 봐 들리는 빗방울들이 땅에 떨어지는 소리 전해지는 좋은 친구